Hey there, welcome to the podcast. I want to thank you. Hey there, welcome to the podcast. I want to thank you for joining me today and I want to thank you for taking some time devoted to your health and your I want to thank you for taking some time devoted to your health and your goals and what's important to your goals and what's important to you. Me. My microphone is fun and I'm trying to get me. My microphone is fun and I'm trying to get that up and going about why you have not and a lower that up and going about why you have not and a lower A1C or A1C. Why you haven't been able to do it quite yet. It hasn't happened for you yet. Why you haven't been able to do it quite yet. It hasn't happened for you yet. Insulin resistance or prediabetes or diabetes even. There's some have insulin resistance. If we look after definitely most of us appreciate, and certainly when we look after definitely most of us appreciate, and certainly when I share my story, people are like, wait, what? Physician. What I knew as a doctor are like, wait, what? Physician. What I knew as a doctor. But it's definitely a misnomer. The healthcare industry is actually definitely a misnomer. The healthcare industry is actually that's how it works. That's how it works. That's what it's going to do. Healthcare industry is really what it's going to do. Healthcare industry is really a poor guide to get you there to that health that you're wanting. Struggle get you there to that health that you're wanting. Struggle with their A1C, women hear from the medical community is they need to change their diet, and exercise habit. Diabetes, what is your exercise habit? Diabetes, what is your diabetes costing you? Foods with diabetes costing you foods with the healthcare system being because you'll have the healthcare system being because you'll have years of failures, even try it again. But just understand, recognizing that 9 out of 10 Americans insulin resistance is the cause of diabetes. So what is causing are the root cause. Of your type 2 scared about the type 2 diabetes, they are they are foods are the source of the discomfort that you feel about your type 2 diabetes, If there go, you would not be listening to this. If there go, you would not be listening to this. And that desire to be healthy is healthy might bring for you in life. Diabetes. The healthcare you have been relying on this the healthcare you have been relying on this system and your physician as a guide chapa every morning. If you see them with it, recognize chapa every morning. If you see them with it, recognize health is about an action that you take, not numbers. Doctor. This your doctor is doing numbers. Doctor. This your doctor is doing those things. Bravo. Applaud them doing those things. Bravo. Applaud them. Kudos to diagnose your disease and to give you who is guiding your health. Who is guiding your health? Who is not they do who is not they do not the insurance where do I put this in the system? I didn't realize this when I was insulin resistant, which these things. And then I got really frustrated, resistant and diabetic. Those foods are designed to eaten at the expense. It was not my self-discipline. And it's not yours either. Knowing the struggle of food desire, your free version of the food that you want. Because again, like that, and you know it because you've been doing it, understand it. And even if they have done it to be more, they do not have the time within the medical system to look at your food, give you efficient, take advantage of this help that's available to you. Go right now, take advantage of this help that's available to you. Go right now, get registered, DelaneMD/team. I do want to warn you, if you've been medicated for your type 2 diabetes, please be careful as you make the dietary changes that I recommend during these podcast episodes. You have been medicated because of the way you've eaten in the past. And if you change the way you're eating right now, you're going to have to change the medications that were given to you from the past. Okay. If not, you can get very sick. The kind of sick that looks like hospitalizations and like ER visits and possibly even death. And that's not why you're making these changes. So make sure that if you're making these changes, that you are being safe about that. And what that means is you're going to want to call your primary care provider. You're going to want to tell them what you're doing. You're going to want to ask them, how do I share my blood sugars with you? And they'll say, I want you to email them. I want you to call my nurse with them. I want you to fax them. I want you to whatever they're going to tell you. And then you're going to ask them, how should I expect to hear from you? What meds you want me to change? And they're going to tell you that too. Get that line of communication open so that you stay safe. If you don't, you can end up very sick. And I don't want that for you. And you don't want that for you. Lastly, I have an ask. If you would be so kind, if you're finding benefit from this podcast, please rate it on your podcast player. Rate it and review it on the podcast player. Remember, 9 out of 10 Americans have insulin resistance. They are either diabetic, pre-diabetic, or on their way. Humans, Americans, people, women need to know we do not need to be sick for the rest of our life with type 2 diabetes and insulin resistance. There is a way to live healthy. If you are hearing that from this podcast, please rate and review the podcast so it gets put out to other people. It gets presented to other people who haven't heard of it, and they can hear this message too. Everybody deserves to live a healthy life without being bound to the medical system, the healthcare system. And this podcast is dedicated to that. So the last thing I want to encourage you to keep listening, keep avoiding the foods that are making you sick.